Charlie Kirk, we didn't, we're what, 7 days after?
7 days.
Craig David. So. Oh, are you guys cracking jokes? Yeah, that's what we do. I think the easiest way to start this video, and I think the thing where most of us agree is that political violence should never be acceptable. The idea that you might have the most reprehensible views, the most disgusting things, you should have the right, and you should be safe enough to be able to espouse those views without losing your life. After his assassination, the main thing I took away, most of what I've seen after the fact is folks trying to figure out whether or not this guy's right wing or left wing, so they can, pit blame on the other side.
100%.
I've seen people call for violence. I've seen people have this rhetoric of us versus them.
Good to fight back against evil. It is time for the righteous to prevail.
I know we don't have a lot of time. There's so many good speakers tonight. This is a battle between good and evil. I wish we could compromise, but you can't compromise with evil. You can't compromise with evil.
I've seen people be like, well, the other side is the one that does it. And I think all of that really defeats the purpose of trying to make the world more safe, right? Because we got here, I feel as though this was a long time coming. And what am I saying a long time? We've been here for a long time. There's been a lot of political crime, a lot of political killings over the last 8 to 7 years. Bombing of abortion clinics.
An Irvine man has been sentenced to 6 years in federal prison for the 2022 firebombing of a Planned Parenthood clinic.
Different politicians who've been attacked, either attempts or assassinations that were completed on both sides, be it Democrats or Republicans.
Sources telling ABC News that 2 Minnesota state lawmakers have been shot, and when law enforcement officials say was a targeted incident.
There have been extremists and crazies who've gone out and murdered people on a semi-regular basis for the last 9 to 10 years that I've been looking at it and paying attention. Anybody who sits out there and goes, well, the lefties are the danger. In fact, this year, I feel like you guys killed quite a few politicians for that matter. There's been Trumpers who've done that.
Over the past 24 hours, I've seen some in the media, some of the very same people who intentionally stoked murderous hatred against people like Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk specifically, now saying that we need to turn down the temperature and start having conversations. Well, Charlie tried to have conversations with you on the left, and you killed him for it.
The same way some Trumpers decided to go kill those Minnesota senators, right? They weren't out there advocating violence. They were at their homes, and this guy showed up to kill them and try to kill more of them. Doesn't mean you shouldn't tone down the rhetoric. But apparently Matt Walsh disagrees. Let's hear why.
You're killing us in our churches. You tried to kill our president. You killed one of our greatest advocates in Charlie Kirk. You have been openly cheering for and celebrating and encouraging and committing political violence for years. Antifa, BLM. You made a hero out of Luigi Mangione. And you celebrate Charlie's death even now. It's too late to turn the temperature down. This is not a time to hold hands. It's a time for justice. It is a time for good to fight back against evil. It is time for the righteous to prevail for the sake of our country and for our families and our children.
The righteous to prevail.
You denouncing all this shit that happened and you said this is wrong, and then you advocate for this shit to happen.
Yeah.
You're frustrating the same thing over and over again. It's never going to stop. It's never going to stop. But it's a sports mentality.
Fair.
My clique can do no wrong.
Yeah.
And will do no wrong. No, sometimes your clique does shit plays. It happens. Acknowledge that. I bleed red, I bleed blue. That's really me. It's one of the reasons why I was not going to sports, because those people were the people who were bullying me with that mentality. They were like, if you don't think like them, it's like, and then I was like, stay away from sports.
Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked with hammers, and Donald Trump and his son were making fun of him after that attack.
And we'll stand up to crazy Nancy Pelosi, who ruined San Francisco. How's her husband doing, by the way? Anybody know?
Well, how about the fact that, a lot of the people who stormed the Capitol January 6th were calling for Mike Pence to be hung.
I'm telling you, if Pence caved, we're going to drag through the streets. You politicians are going to get drugged through the streets. Yeah.
I saw Asmongold say it was like 90% the left.
I think that in the last 5 years or so, especially since BLM, it's been a 90% left-wing thing. But that doesn't mean that the 10% right-wing people are right either.
And it's like, well, crime statistics disagree with you, and it says most of the political violence in this is committed by the right. That's what the stats say. So for people to come out after the fact and just make it sound like it's one-sided is just bizarre to me. And then also people looking into the shooter and they're like, oh, I think he might have had a trans girlfriend.
Yeah, a trans roommate. What does that have to do with it?
Bro, And in a time where people say rhetoric is the reason that violence has happened, the moment Charlie Kirk died, I saw Trump get on and he was just like, well, these radical left Marxists, so they're complaining about the fact that they call Nazis all the time. And what do they call everybody who's a radical left, Marxist, socialist, communist? It's like, okay, got it. Everybody does this kind of hyperbolic. If people don't like Charlie Kirk and want to acknowledge the fact that he had disgusting views, that's their right. And people try to cancel folks for that. I'm not with that at all. Okay, the guy did say some very disgusting things throughout his life. He said them very publicly, and people whitewashing him. I've heard people call him a good Christian boy. Maybe from your perspective, it's okay for people to have a different perspective. I certainly don't share the one where he's some good. I've heard him say some really so that's my personal opinion.
You had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped. And she was going to give birth and she would, and she was going to give birth and she was going to live. Would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
It's but it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
Oh, okay, great. So
Do you think that there should be free school lunch for all children?
No.
Why?
Of course not. Because parents should feed their kids, not the government.
What if they can't?
Go get a job.
A child?
The parents should go get the job.
Yeah.
This is important. First of all, this is really
I want children to eat?
Of course I do. Show me a single child in America going hungry. Doesn't exist. Number two, we have churches, we have food shelters, we have billions, and it does not exist. We have a child obesity problem, not a child starvation problem in this country.
I mean, Joe Biden is a bumbling, dementia-filled Alzheimer's, corrupt tyrant who should honestly be put in prison and or given the death penalty for his crimes against America.
I know we don't have a lot of time. There's so many good speakers tonight. This is a battle between good and evil. I wish we could compromise, but you can't compromise with evil. You can't compromise with evil.
I think the DOJ should immediately move to unseal all the Epstein documents in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah.
I think every file should be released to the public the same way as the JFK files.
Charlie Kirk got one call from the president, and this was his response.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands.
People in this day and age cannot emotionally multitask. You know that two things can coexist at the same time? I cannot wish someone harm, but also not be sad for the harm that happens to them. I don't wish it on them, but I'm like, you don't mean that you're wishing someone bad. You don't have to be celebrating and be like, I'm not gonna put my flag half-mast.
That was wild. Treating that dude like he was a national hero is crazy.
So,
I mean, veterans die every single day in the line of duty.
Yeah.
And the president will not do a damn thing. But this guy gets shot and then all of a sudden they doing all this hubbub. It's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So, but things can, yes, it is. It's not empathy. It's not compassion. There's this neutrality that is a possibility as well. Especially when you're affected by the things that he's saying.
And you contributed. Like, if we're all honest, none of this is surprising because we've been inching towards this whole time. We've been here for a while. All this extreme rhetoric, all this, calling these people Nazis, calling these people Marxist, communist, radical, like all of this stuff.
Call these people basically not human.
Yes. How many YouTubers have I seen calling for a potential civil war? Okay, because of what's happening. How many people have I seen even post-attack still carry on with the exact same good versus evil? Who do they think is good? Their side, obviously. Their side is only full of good people, and the other side is the evil side. And so when you hear all this rhetoric, it's like, of course, this is where it's going to happen. Of course, when you inflame your audience to say this person deserves to be hung, this person deserves to be shot by gunfire or whatever it is, and people constantly hear this, they're going to internalize this good versus evil. And that's why you have people showing up to Pelosi house trying to kill him, or why you have those Democrat senators in Minnesota being killed, or why you had those Republicans shot at the Israeli embassy. We have made everything an existential crisis, and to a degree it is, but we don't know how to have good dialogue and understand these things. I'm going to caution everybody against it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who gets assassinated, whether it's me tomorrow or whatever. I would never, let's say it's me. Let's say it's me tomorrow, hypothetically. I'm out, a fresh and fit fan. I would never hope that you guys go out and try to do some retribution, okay? In that same token, as a lefty myself, I would not want you guys to go, that's the wrong idea. no matter how bad it is out there.
How the same people that are always talking about gang mentality and gang, the gangs are gangs and black on black, you having the same mentality. An eye for an eye. You do it, I'm gonna do it. That's how they do it.
And you know what I really didn't like throughout this whole thing? People were like saying, this might be a minority, this might be a trans person, as if that factors into the equation if it turns out to be true. But whenever it's a white person who ends up killing somebody else, do we all appreciate the fact that that's generally not part of the conversation?
No, it's not. It's never.
So the only conversation that's been had so far is whether or not they are one of these other identities. Now that it's not, it's completely excluded from the conversation. And I only bring this up because earlier this week or last week, there was the killing on the bus. How many people messaged me, are you going to talk about this? You're probably not because it's a black person. I'm like, it's a mentally ill person who's been let out after like 13 convictions. He should have been in jail. And he's schizophrenic and he was never put in. You making this a race thing is fucking retarded. However, I think it's interesting that 2 days later, a white young man goes out and kills somebody and the discussion around race doesn't exist. And that's just something I just wanted to highlight as a small thing because these two stories happen back to back. And I thought it was interesting that as a black creator, I always get messaged whenever another black, like I'm responsible. Like it's my job to, I have white fatigue. I'm
not even sure what that means, bro.
You don't know about black fatigue?
Yes, I know.
I got the white one. I do think it's interesting that the moment this crime happens, that people go straight to identity politics, including the people who say they hate identity politics.
But it's white. It's just like, it's just...
No, but like, it's just like, are they minority? Are they trans? It's like, is that what you're hyper-focusing on after a crime?
Yes, they are.
Right. The same way that their rhetoric gets toned down if they're a white cis male, they hate that shit. All of a sudden, a crime happens. Are they trans? Are they this? Are they that? It's like, oh, wow. It turns out identity politics is very popular on the right.
They're looking for even the roommate.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know because the reporting keeps changing every single day. I just think it's interesting. Identity politics is at the forefront of this thing. What is the race of the individual who commits the crime? What is, as long as they're not white. If they're white, we kind of just move right past it. What is the ethnicity? What is their sexual orientation? It's like, all this is just identity politics. I find it interesting that we're hyper-fixating on that. Isn't that what we've all fought against for a long time?
Well, we didn't fight for it, and they certainly didn't. So they're going to hyper-fixate on that.
Even cancel culture. You know, for the longest time, I had a whole bunch of people tell me, remember that white lady who ran up on that kid and was calling him the N-word a bunch of times on camera? I had a lot of people, I had a lot of right-wingers telling me that this woman losing her job is horrible. She should be allowed to go up to a young 10, 13-year-old kid and call him the N-word a dozen times on camera and not be fired. But now with this incident, because people are celebrating, which I think is horrible, I think it's bad, I think it's stupid, but I would never think people should get fired for that. Should they lose their job? If you think yes, then you're for cancel culture. That's what it is. You're for people getting canceled because you don't like the way that they act or the way that they behave. Yeah.
But those same people on the right don't like cancel culture when it's against them. So it's convenient. It's convenience. It's convenient cancel culture. It's whenever you can control it.
Yep.
That's weird.
Yes.
That's weird in a twisted way.
I don't think it's twisted. It just goes to show you that the groups who try to pretend like they're so different from the other side are quite identical. In fact, they'll engage in the same behavior.
Yep.
They'll pretend they're the victims of all the situations.
Yep.
They will do identity politics when it's convenient. They will engage in violent rhetoric and then pretend to be victims right afterwards. Like every group does this. The left will do this, the right will do this, but I need us all to accept that they're not different. And if you think they're different, you can just watch the behavior in front of you. How is this different from identity politics? How is this different from cancel culture? How is this different from all the stuff that I heard from conservatives for the last 10 years that the left does too much of? I don't know. All the crazy rhetoric, all the vilifying the other side, they all do it. Until we get past this point of pretending like the other side is a problem, we will never get past this point.
There's going to be a whole revolution. With all them guns around, there's going to be a whole civil war, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? Anything else?
No.
All right, well, listen, let us know what you guys think. Do you guys disagree? Which side is wrong? Which side is correct? I want to hear from you.